all the answers, but we will provide answers to all the questions received today, either during the town hall or after. We will post it on our website, or if you registered online and provided an email address, we will email the responses to the questions and also any slides that we share at today's town hall. If you have a question during the town hall, you will see the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Please submit your questions using the Q&A feature. If you're not able to access that feature, please feel free to text or call your question to 650-336-5726. That is 650-336-5726. And before I share what we've been doing specifically to respond to COVID, let me quickly share that your City Council and city staff have been busy working on different things, including setting our priorities for 2021, recruiting a new permanent city manager. We will be issuing a community survey to hear from residents what they would like to see in our new city manager. We will be posting the survey online. And if you're not able to access the survey online, but would still like a copy of the survey so that you can also provide your feedback, again, please feel free to call or text 650-336-5726. Another thing city staff and city council are busy working on is hopefully getting our brand new community center open for summer 2021. So let me start with the slide regarding what we have been doing since March 2020 regarding COVID. We have established, the first thing I want to share with this group is the fact that we soon after the governor's order was issued and a city hall had to switch to working remotely and virtually, the staff established a senior helpline. And I want to make sure you have that phone number. I will provide it now, but I know you'll see it again in one of the slides. The senior helpline, the phone number is 650-947-2797. And that's if you need to call between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. If you need to call between the hours of 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., that number is 650-947-2790. Los Altos also partnered with the county in setting up different COVID testing sites in Los Altos, and we're still continuing to partner with the county in setting up testing sites here in Los Altos. Again, in a later slide, we will have at least 3 upcoming dates for testing in Los Altos. We also partnered with the Community Services Agency, which is our local social service group that serves our Los Altos residents. 2 of the things that we did as a city with CSA is we were able to provide grocery shopping services to senior residents and also provide food delivery to our residents. We also pivoted from our normal in-person recreation center activities to having virtual recreation activities for seniors, and also establish an interactive cable TV programming. And again, we will have more information for those programming and services later on in the presentation. And then the last thing that city staff was able to do for the community is to replace a lot of the social interaction and activities we did before COVID and made them virtual. And we recognize it is not the same, but we were happy to do it. And we have received positive feedback from many of our residents. I want to share this feedback we received from one of our commissioners, Commissioner Kevin O'Reilly. And quickly, yes, we still have our senior commission meeting. Our commissioners meet on the first Monday of the month at 3:30 p.m. It is virtual. If you're interested in attending these senior commission meetings, please let staff know so they can get you the link to call in or the phone number if there's one available for you to call in. If you're interested in serving on the senior commission, there are actually 2 openings on the commission. Tomorrow is the deadline to apply. And so if you're interested, please send staff a quick email or phone call so that we can get you the application to apply to serve on our senior commission. But as I was saying, Commissioner O'Reilly reached out to staff recently to recognize and thank Anita Parsons, who is on our park and rec staff. She had taken the time to call one of our seniors who's at home alone. And this particular senior had requested a call back each week. And that's exactly what Ms. Parsons did. And so Commissioner O'Reilly did not realize that this was done so consistently by city staff, and he appreciated the staff members' compassion and kindness. He also, Commissioner O'Reilly, has been very impressed with the senior center staff for all their efforts with the different meetups and the virtual get-togethers that I've already mentioned. And so he expressed a big thank you to staff, which I echo. And this is just one of the many stories to share with you so you understand what we're doing to really support the senior community during these challenging times. So what's allowed and what's not allowed, and what are the resources available? So if we could go to the next slide. Thank you. So the first thing I will talk about, it's what is allowed during COVID and where we're all still being encouraged to stay at home and only gather and go out when necessary. But what is still allowed is outdoor dining, or restaurants in Los Altos are still open for either takeout or outdoor dining, where they have tables set up outside with the right distance for people to enjoy sitting outdoors and enjoying a meal at a restaurant. No contact outdoor sports. Those are still allowed. I know those may be limited, but those are still allowed under the current COVID order. Walking in city parks or in your neighborhoods, that's also allowed, or parks are open for you to take advantage and walk. I know a lot of our seniors at Grant Park, I would go over to the Grant Park Center and see a lot of our seniors just walking around Grant Park, and that is definitely still allowed. What should we avoid? There are many things that I know we miss. For example, pickleball, bocce ball. And if we could go to the next slide, I'll share some of the things that we should avoid under the current COVID order. Definitely large gatherings. I know it's been challenging, especially during the holidays when we're not able to gather with our family and friends, but we're still being encouraged to avoid large gatherings. COVID-19 vaccine scams. We have learned that there has been an increase in the number of vaccine scams, and the targeted population, unfortunately, has been our seniors, where people are placing phone calls, providing false information about vaccine distribution and when individuals are eligible and what they need to do to get the vaccine. Please, if you get any of those phone calls and you're not sure whether or not the phone calls are legitimate, I keep going back to the senior helpline phone numbers I provided at the beginning. Please reach out to city staff, that's why they're there, to answer those types of questions and to help support the community through, again, these challenging times. Traveling is also discouraged and something we need to avoid. I know, again, we all miss being able to visit loved ones or going on vacation, but those are things that are discouraged during this time because it would increase, the likelihood of you or anybody that you gather with of getting COVID-19, which is still with us, even though we now have a vaccine. And then the last thing, and I mentioned it at the beginning, is the contact sports and activities. And I know many of you miss playing bocce ball and pickleball. And unfortunately, because those are viewed as contact sports where you're sharing the ball and you're in very close contact when playing those sports, those are the types of sports we need to avoid. The next thing I would like to talk about, it's the no wrong door policy. I'm sure you've heard, and I think that's the next slide. We are encouraging all members in our community that once they're eligible to get vaccinated, that they do so. When the County of Santa Clara first launched, the vaccination distribution process, and a lot of what the county does is dictated by the state. And so, for example, who is eligible for the vaccine? That comes directly from the state, and the county has to comply with those orders and guidelines. Recently, our county, as many other counties did, moved to what's called a no wrong door policy, which means you can go to your healthcare provider or the county to get your vaccine once you're eligible. Before, the direction was if you have a healthcare provider, whether it's PAMF or Sutter, Stanford, Kaiser, you are strongly encouraged to go to your healthcare providers and not the county. That changed recently to what we're calling the no wrong door policy, meaning even if you have Kaiser or Stanford or PAMF Sutter, you can still go to the county to get your vaccine. And even if you're not a member of Kaiser, Stanford, PAMF or Sutter, you can also go to those healthcare providers to get the vaccine. And so if we go to the next slide, we have the contact info. So this is the testing slide. Sorry about that, Trevor. So I'd mentioned this before, when to get tested. We could do the testing slide, Trevor. When and where in Los Altos you can still get tested for COVID. The first is February 25th, and that is being done at Grant Park. And the address, it's at our community center. It's 1575 Holt Avenue. The next date where you can get tested, and this is in Los Altos Hills, it is on March 1st, and the address for the council chambers is 26379 Fremont Road. And the next upcoming date to get tested is March 9th, and it's downtown. It's at 169 State Street at the Assistance League of Los Altos. Again, we will be sharing these slides with you. And you can make appointments through the Los Altos City website at losaltosca.gov/COVID-19. Because again, even though we are rolling out the vaccines and a lot of our residents may be eligible for the vaccines, we still encourage individuals to get tested. It is very important to get tested and of course, continue to wear masks, social distance, and wash hands frequently. Trevor, what's the next slide? Here we are. So we have either the phone number or the website that you can visit to make appointments at the different healthcare providers. We have the PAMF, the Stanford, Kaiser, and the county. And currently, the county, Stanford, PAMF, or Sutter are all vaccinating healthcare personnel and individuals who are 65 or older. Our understanding is Kaiser is still only vaccinating healthcare personnel and individuals who are 75 and older. But again, based on the no wrong door policy, even if you're a member of Kaiser, you're still now able to go to the county or one of the other providers that are vaccinating 65-year-olds or older. Thanks, Trevor. So we have either the website where you can make the appointment or the phone number that you can call to make the appointment once you're eligible, or if you have questions related to the vaccine. I do want to highlight the county's website, which is sccfreevax.org. That's www.sccfree, vax.org, because that is a central site that actually has information about all the different healthcare providers. So if you're not able to go to any of the other sites, I definitely encourage you to go to the county's website at sccfreevax.org. And I do want to especially thank Supervisor Simidian and his staff for sharing this information with us from the town hall they did last week. Then the next slide, Trevor. This is our resource page where to get the latest information, because I'm sure as you've seen or heard, information related to the vaccine distribution and who is eligible and what phase we're in changes frequently. And so what I am telling you this afternoon may change tomorrow. And so to really get the most up-to-date information, please visit our COVID-19 resource page on our website. That's the losaltosca.gov COVID-19, or sign up to receive our city manager weekly update, or obtain information specific to our senior community. If for whatever reason you're not able to access these links, please feel free to call the senior helpline. And that's why we set up those phone numbers, because we recognize not everyone may be able to access or navigate these different resource pages. Next slide, Trevor. Are we up to questions? So the resource page, one of the programs that Los Altos established a couple years ago, which we wanted to highlight for senior community, is the rideshare program. And this is because as our senior community members become eligible for the vaccine, if they need any form of transportation, using the rideshare program, which is sponsored through the city, is one of the different ways you'd be able to get to your appointment. And so we wanted to make sure that if there were seniors in our community who were eligible, but for whatever reason did not have transportation or assistance to get to that appointment, that they were aware of our rideshare program here in Los Altos. And the senior helpline number that I've shared before, that's also on this slide, is the number to call to make those appointments or ask questions about how do you arrange for rideshare to get to those appointments. In addition to, going to your COVID vaccination appointment or getting tested, the rideshare program is also still available for you to go to your doctor's appointments. And then I will just say it because I know this is being recorded. Please, again, use our senior helpline. It was set up for this very purpose. They want to hear from you. So please call the two numbers I shared at the beginning. Other resources available, and the ARP tax help is very timely. I know a lot of us right now are figuring out, how do we get our taxes done on time and done well? And fortunately, Los Altos has been providing this ARP tax help services to our senior community. And so if you would like to take advantage of this service this year, please contact our ARP tax assistant representative, Nikki Thiel, and her phone number is 650-687-7867. And then the other thing we have on this slide, of course, going back to our activities, is our virtual get-togethers or cable TV programming and other activities that are specifically geared for seniors. The website is there. It's losaltosca.gov/seniors. And if you're not able to access that link, please call the senior helpline. And I'll give that phone number one more time before we go to questions. Between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., I think it's Monday through Friday, please call 650-947-2797. Between 1 and 5 p.m., please call 650-947-2790. And so with that, I want to thank everybody again for joining us. I see that we are up to 63 participants. Thanks for joining. And now we will open it up for questions. And as a reminder, if you have a question, please type it into the Q&A feature. If you're not able to do that, please go ahead and text or call and leave a message at the number we provided at the beginning. And I'm pulling up the number again, just in case many of you weren't on at the beginning when we provided that number. And we also received questions beforehand. And so if we have time after we've gone through the live questions, then we will start going through the questions that were submitted beforehand. And if we don't get through all the questions, again, we will post all the questions asked and the answers on our website, and also email them to all the email addresses that were used to register for this event.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Trevor Marsden. I will be asking the mayor the questions and kind of doing the behind the scenes. So first up is Tony Lee. We've seen that many of the sheriff's departments are declining vaccinations. What percentage of LAPD has been vaccinated?
So thanks for that question, and I heard that as well. I do not know the percentage or number of our LAPD staff that have been vaccinated. That is definitely something we can check with our police chief to get that information to you.
Perfect. Secondly is from Larry Barron. My wife got a test last Tuesday, February 9th at the downtown location. She has not received the results yet. How can she get the results? Is there an email address or phone number to find the results? At the test, they said it would take 2 or 3 days.
Thanks for that question, Larry. As someone who has done this, the city has no control over when the results are released. This is done directly through the healthcare provider or the county. And typically they give the disclaimer of, although test results are expected in 2 to 3 days, it could take longer. And so the best advice we can give is to contact the healthcare provider. If it was done through the county, contact the county directly. I know they have phone numbers on their website that we provided earlier, the sccfreevax.org website, and I would contact the county to get a status update on the test results.
Perfect. Secondly, what resources or plans are there, if any, for homebound seniors who are not physically able to go to vaccine locations?
So Trevor, I think I lost you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
What resources or plans are there, if any, for homebound seniors who are not physically able to go to vaccine locations? Thanks.
Thanks for that question, Kristen. And I don't know if you were here when we mentioned the rideshare program that the city has managed for a couple of years. That is available for seniors to take them to the vaccination site to get vaccinated. If they're homebound and not able to leave their homes, that is definitely something I can talk with county staff about, whether or not there are any plans in place for seniors who are not able to leave their homes. I know at senior facilities, there are different pharmacists, for example, CVS and Walgreens, who have directly contracted with the federal government to provide vaccines to those residents. But I really appreciate that question, because it's for those seniors who, even with our city rideshare program, would not be able to take advantage of the program because they're home. So we will take a note of all these questions and definitely get answers back to you. That's why we're doing this.
So more of a comment than a question, but someone got tested at the old assistance last Tuesday and they haven't been able to see the results because you didn't get a letter with an access code. So something like that may have happened. I also know that sometimes they won't contact you if you're negative. So, okay.
Thanks for sharing that, Marie.
Yeah. So the first question that were submitted were, will there be an orientation of the new community center for seniors?
We're all very excited and looking forward to opening the community center, especially for seniors. Staff is currently planning an event for the community center and our seniors. And they'll be putting together more details once we get closer to the opening. So stay tuned.
Okay. Does the city have any information on senior financial scams?
So we have received complaints from residents or questions from residents about phone calls they have been receiving. You know, a good place to start is, and we will provide this website to our residents. It's www.consumer.ftc.gov. Obviously, that's at the federal level. If there's seniors in our community who have questions, as I mentioned earlier, about phone calls they may have received, and they're not sure if these are legitimate phone calls, meaning they could be from healthcare providers or the county or the city, then please, again, call the senior helpline, and city staff should be able to help you figure out whether or not those are legitimate phone calls. I would definitely encourage residents to err on the side of assuming, unless you know the person calling or you were expecting the call, to err on the side of some skepticism and assume that those phone calls are not legitimate. We are trying to share the official information related to vaccines with you this afternoon. And the websites we provided should also have the official information. And those are your best resources to get the latest update and what you need to know regarding the vaccine.
Okay. So skip a little bit down and, okay. Can you provide an update on Fremont Avenue?
So it's funny, you know, when we first started advertising this town hall, we said we were going to focus on the senior community. All are invited and we welcome all questions. And so on Fremont Avenue, the city is currently planning to roll out the first phase of the Fremont Avenue project. We had community meetings in the fall and winter of 2020 regarding the Fremont Avenue project. And now we'll be using this community input, which is part of the first phase, to design the Fremont Avenue project. So we are in the process of the planning and community engagement phase related to the Fremont Avenue project.
And similarly related, not necessarily just seniors, but when will the community center open?
So the current plan is to have our community center open by summer 2021. And there will be a lot of communication, and we'll make sure that all residents are aware of the opening. And depending on, you know, what we're able to do summer 2021, we'll make sure whether it's virtual or in person, we have the right celebration for our grand opening.
Perfect. And before I move to the next question, I just want to reiterate, please, if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask them. We will definitely get to them. But the next question is, where can I get caregiving services for my family member?
So there are different types of caregiving services. And so I will provide the different resources. And if for whatever reason, the ones that we list do not cover or not the type of resources you're looking for, then let us know. If you're looking for, you know, services during COVID. For example, we gave the story of a member of our community who wanted to talk with someone each week. And we had someone on our recreation staff call her each week just to talk with her. That type of service you can get through the city. We also have the different healthcare providers that we listed earlier. And those healthcare providers, as many of you know, if you're a member, there are different services that they directly provide. I know El Camino provides those types of services to community members. If you're looking for in-home caregiving services, then there are nonprofits and other private groups that provide in-home care. I don't have the list with me, and so when I saw that question, it wasn't clear to me what type of in-home caregiving the question was referring to. But to the extent the city can either help by providing, a recreation staff member to talk or check in or answer your questions. That's something we can definitely do as a city. If you're looking to hire someone to come to your home to help, then please let us know, and maybe we can identify different local resources in the area that provide that service. And I will say, I just want to repeat what Trevor said. And for those of you who don't know, Trevor Marsden, he is on the city staff, and he was very helpful in putting together this town hall and fielding the different questions. I also want to recognize Cherry. You may recognize her name. She is the point person on our staff related to all things senior community. And so I do want to recognize them for all the work I know they continue to do for our senior community. And please feel free to reach out to them directly with any questions you may have or any help that you may need. So, special recognition for Cherry Anderson and Trevor and the rest of the park and recreation staff for all they're doing. And we are here to help. And so if there are other things that you would like us to do, please let us know.
Perfect. And so I do see that someone raised your hand. If you could just type in your question, that would be awesome. So next up, how can I get insurance through Social Security?
So I don't have the step-by-step process on how to do that. I'm sure we can provide the link for that will explain that process.
Perfect.
And again, we do have the County of Santa Clara that if you need to get vaccinated, you can get vaccinated through the County of Santa Clara, even if you don't have insurance through one of the other providers. And so if you're eligible for the vaccine, you can still get it through the county. Perfect.
And Maria Young had a comment about retesting and not getting results, that it's good to be careful about advertising testing without including the limitations, and that you need to be enrolled in ECH's MyCare to access them. So, all right, next question. Keep moving on here. Pardon?
No, I was thanking Marie Young for helping us answer Larry Barron's question.
Perfect. So the next question here is how do I get on the Ring Central Zoom link for classes?
So Trevor, do you want to take that question?
I can. So this is a common question that comes up quite frequently. It is not just targeted at seniors. It happens to a lot of people frequently, so do not worry about it. The Adult 50 Plus program staff is available to assist with accessing online engagement through the City of Los Altos Ring Central platform. We're also considering doing trainings or doing, almost a practice webinar just so people can figure it out before the actual webinar. And so there will be more information about that coming up. I don't have any plans or any dates for that right now, but I will inform people as we start to implement it.
And I will just add to that as well, because we receive questions at the City Council level as well regarding Ring Central versus Zoom, because a lot of people in our community are more familiar with Zoom. Ring Central is different from Zoom, so even if you're accustomed to using Zoom, it is helpful to get a tutorial or an overview of Ring Central, because some of the features are different. And so if you've not used Ring Central before, I just want to encourage everybody to sign up and attend that overview session that Trevor was mentioning.
Of course. So 2 comments. The city has a wonderful lady that handles emergency response planning. Her name is Ann Heppenstall. She's great. I think that's who you mean. It could be someone else with the county. Also, the senior center is supposed to be completed during April, so maybe the grand opening is in Summers.
Yes, we are hoping, Wayne, to have, and I think you're referring to the community center, we are hoping to have the community center open by summer 2021. If it happens before, wonderful. But right now, we're definitely saying by summer 2021.
Perfect.
And you
And
mentioned earlier that staff will be doing outreach to the senior community regarding the programming we'll have at the new community center for seniors. So stay tuned for that.
perfect. So next question, any plans to increase the planning and development department and code enforcement? The personnel have been very slow to respond to issues in the neighborhoods.
So thanks for that question. You know, and I apologize if there's been any delay in our response to your concerns or your needs. You know, I am not aware of any plans. Obviously, we have our interim city manager who manages staff and does the hiring for the different departments. But I want to specifically address, you know, if there was any slow response to issues in the neighborhood, please let us know. You know, I can tell you our city staff have been working really hard. They have made the adjustment during COVID, and I've been very impressed with how much they're still able to get done. But in the event you're submitting requests and we're not responding, let us know, because we want to make sure that we are responding to your requests. And if there are concerns in your neighborhood, we want to make sure we're addressing them. So I'm glad you raised this. And so please send an email follow up, let us know the specific address, the specific issue, and we will work with the right department to get a response to you or to look into that issue. So I see another comment from Wayne Dexter. There's a hole and they're tied in the place it should be connected to. I'm not sure, but Wayne, we do have an amazing team of hams, bats, block captains, and I think you were the same person who mentioned Ann Heppenstall before. And they do work together. They collaborate with the police department and all these different emergency response teams on behalf of Los Altos. So we are very fortunate to have, and most of these individuals are volunteers. And so we're very fortunate as a community to have this engaged group of individuals. Any other questions? I know we only have a couple minutes left. Again, if you have a question, you can post it in the Q&A. If not, we had some questions submitted beforehand and we will send these out to everyone. I do want to thank everybody for attending. You know, our goal was really to share what we've been doing directly with you and also hear if there's anything. And I think I've repeated myself maybe 10 times now saying, you know, call us. If you're not able to access the website or submit a question electronically, that's why we have these phone numbers. We sincerely want to hear from you. We want to know if there's anything we can do to help and support you during this time. You're not alone. We're all in this together. And we want to make sure that you're all aware of that. So I see a question from Freddie. What is being done to try to reach more residents to be informed by their input on issues before council? How many households actually receive notification of city surveys? Ways to increase this number need to be found. And Freddie, you know, I agree. And if you were here at the beginning, you would have heard me explain why I sent letters to our senior community, because I recognized as well last year that a lot of what we do in communicating to residents is done online and electronically. And I sent the letters because I wanted to make sure we were reaching all residents. You know, we've done different surveys. We had the survey related to our priorities. And again, we're doing a survey related to the hiring of our city manager. In addition to having the survey be online, we will also have hard copies available. If residents request a hard copy, we'll get them a hard copy of the survey. And I think the plan is also to have hard copies available at City Hall. We're not encouraging people to go out and be about, but if that is the best means to get them a copy of the survey for them to participate, that's what we will provide. You know, we're having our priority setting discussion. We had our retreat and then we will discuss it at our next Tuesday, or February 23rd City Council meeting. And I know one of the 8 priorities that we have discussed is community engagement. And I think that, and because I think council recognizes how important community engagement is for our community. And I think part of that discussion has to be to ensure that we're reaching all residents through different means in our community.
Perfect. And one last question is, what is the Senior Spotlight?
Is that our newsletter? Maybe we can have Cherry tell us about the Senior Spotlight.
Hi, thank you, Mayor Fligor. The Spotlight is a bi-monthly newsletter we send out via snail mail, as well as these days online, so that we can share with you all of the different programs, activities, resources, and information about the city, as well as the Adult 50 Plus program. So we are preparing now for the next go round, if you will, for March, April Spotlight newsletter. So if you're interested in having it mailed to you, as well as how to get it online, please feel free to contact us as been stated to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Cherry. Thank you so much. And it is 4:45. Thank you again so much for calling in. Please be well, wear a mask, social distance, wash hands once you're eligible to be vaccinated. Please do so, and let us know if we can help. As we've said from the beginning, we're all in this together. We're Los Altos strong, and we will get through this together. So thank you. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you, Trevor.